Hey everyone, welcome back to iNeuronics.ai. Today's video is one of the most fundamental and exciting topics in AI, the difference between generative AI and discriminative AI. Most people confuse these two, but if you truly understand them, you'll unlock the secret of how modern AI is built from classification models to ChatGPT level creativity. So let's break it down with examples, visual, and super simple explanation you'll never forget. Nowadays, AI can broadly work in two ways. The first one is generative AI, the second one is discriminative AI. Generative AI is all about generating the new data set in the form of text, audio, video, image, etc. If I talk about discriminative AI, it is all about predictions, classification, object detection, recognizing patterns inside the data. But if I talk about the major difference between discriminative AI and generative AI, discriminative AI is all about how to do things. Generative AI is all about how to learn to do things. And discriminative AI will never generate a new data. And generative AI will always generate a new data in the form of text, audio, videos, etc. So that is the core difference between discriminative AI and generative AI that you should have in your mind. If I talk about discriminative AI, it discriminates between different categories as its name suggests. If I talk about generative AI, it generates something new that was not there in the dataset before. Let me make this crystal clear with simple definition. The job of discriminative model is to predict, classify or assign probabilities. Examples include spam versus non-spam emails, performing sentiment analysis, predicting house prices, detecting objects inside an image, or classifying whether the picture is of cat or dog. If I talk about generative models, their job is to create new data based on the patterns they have learned. Examples includes completing a Wikipedia sentence, generating new music, creating an AI movie scene, writing a poem in your voice. Here's the easiest way to remember. If the output is in the form of number, a class or a probability or a category, that is discriminative AI. If the output is in the form of text, audio, image, video or frames, that is generative AI. Think of it like this. Discriminative AI is equals to judge. Is this A or B? Generative AI is equals to artist. Let me create something new for you. Suppose you watched Fast and Furious 9 movie completely. If I ask you who was the villain, who was the hero, you're recalling the facts. That is discriminative AI. But if I say, imagine a new movie where car flies into space with superheroes, now you are creating something new from what you have learned. That is generative AI. Now let's compare discriminative AI and generative AI with real world applications you have already seen in action. This will make things super clear. Discriminative AI examples include fraud detection in banking. When you swipe your card at an ATM or make an online payment, banks instantly check is this transaction normal or suspicious. Discriminative AI looks at the features like transaction amount, location, time, and frequency, then it classifies it as fraud or not. It doesn't generate anything new, it just make a decision, safe or risky. If I talk about email spam classification, every time Gmail sends junk mail to the spam folder, that is discriminative AI at work. It checks does this email look like normal or spam based on keywords, links, and sender history. Again, no new content is generated. It is only a classification. If I talk about image classification, think of Google Photos telling you this picture is of cat and that one is of dog. The model has learned patterns from millions of cats and dog images. Now it classifies your photos into right buckets. If I talk about object detection in self-driving cars, we have cars like Tesla. They are constantly scanning the surroundings. That is discriminative AI. Like for example, we have a person running on a road or on a street. So they'll automatically get the signals. That's a stop sign. That's another car. It doesn't invent anything. It's making critical yes no or class decision in real time to keep you safe. If I talk about the examples related to generative AI, it includes ChatGPT completing your sentences. When you type a prompt or we can say an input into the ChatGPT, it doesn't just classify your text. It actually generates new words one after another, predicting the most likely next token until you get a full conversation. That's why it feel like you are chatting with a real human. If I talk about DALI or Stable Diffusion creating art, you give a text prompt like a cat sitting on the moon in Ghibli style. And the model literally paints an image that never existed before. That is generative AI creating visual based on the patterns it learns. If I talk about the use case related to the AI models generating music, today AI can compose brand new songs in your favorite artist style. It is not classifying existing songs, it is composing original music note by note and like a digital composer. If I talk about video generation tools, some AI tools can now generate full short films just from a script. For example, you write so a robot walking through a futuristic city and AI generates a video frame by frame. That's not a reduction or classification, it is pure new creation. Enough theory, let's quickly see this in action with two tiny demos you can try in Google Colab. I'll see you on Google tab. So we are here on the Google, just type Google Colab. Cool. Click on the first most link, create new notebook, click on this particular connect button, create couple of cells. So what I'm gonna do over here, I'm gonna paste two examples. The first one is related to discriminative AI. The second one would be related to generative AI. In discriminative AI will perform the classification. In generative AI will generate the new text. Let me paste the code that I have written over here. I'm running this particular code. This is discriminative model. It learns to separate spam from ham emails. The output is just label spam or ham. It is not generating the new dataset or new content, we can say. That is discriminative AI. We are using algorithms, something called as naive bias over here. Now I'm gonna paste the example related to generative AI. So as you can see, with the help of transformers library, I'm installing or I'm loading, we can say, GPT-2 model by OpenAI, which is open source version of the model given by OpenAI. It's running. As you can see, the model is getting downloaded from Hugging Face. Meanwhile, the model is getting downloaded. So we are here on this particular Hugging Face platform. We are writing a GPT-2 over here. This particular model we are downloading from Hugging Face. As you can see, when I click on files and versions, I have this particular model available. We are downloading the same model over here. So as you can see, I have written once upon a time in a fast car race. It is generating the text for me. And that is generative model. We give it a starting sentence and it actually creates a brand new continuation. That is a real life use case of generative AI model. So here we have practically seen the difference between discriminative AI and generative AI in terms of models. For discriminative AI, we are using a library, something called as scikit-learn, which we will cover in future series. And over here, we are using transformers library in the case of generative AI. Now let's get back to the slide. Don't worry if you are not familiar with the terms like sklearn or transformers or how I have written the code. In this series, we'll cover generative AI step by step, and one of our team member is running a complete data science series from scratch. The link is in the description below. So you are fully covered whether you want to start with generative AI or go deep dive into the data science basics. If I talk about discriminative models, they learn the boundary between different classes. We have algorithms like logistic regression, support vector machines, random forest, neural networks over here in this particular cohort or in this particular group, we can say. And generative AI model learns the distribution of data and then sample from it to create something new. Examples include GPT models, Hugging Face models, generative adversarial networks, diffusion models, transformers like GPT. They even combined together, for example, reinforcement learning plus generative model give us more creative and controlled outputs. So here's the key takeaway. Discriminative AI is not old or useless. In fact, every AI system you see today, from fraud detection to recommendation engine, still depends heavily on discriminative AI. Generative AI, on the other hand, is what makes AI feel human because it can create new text, music, or images. Together, we are shaping the AI revolution. Without discriminative models, we wouldn't have accuracy. Without generative models, we wouldn't have creativity. So, to wrap it up, discriminative AI is equals to predict, classify, and detect. Generative AI is equals to imagine, create, and innovate. And both are equally important for the future of AI. In our next video, we'll go one step deeper, exploring how generative AI models are trained and why architectures like transformers and diffusion models are at the heart of this revolution. We'll also see prompt engineering and multiple more topics related to generative AI. So make sure to like, share, and subscribe to iNeuronics.ai because trust me, this journey is getting started. I'm super excited to take you further into the world of AI from classification to creativity. This is iNeuronics.ai. I'll see you in the next one.